Hi designers, this is Christine from Chalk Central and welcome to a very important special edition of Chalk Talk. This is your April 2018 episode, and in this episode we're going to give you an in-depth overview of our newly updated Policies and Procedures document. Now, this document, while very important, is also very long, and so in today's session you're going to get some of the questions that we get the most answered very simply by some of my great friends at Chalk Central. You're going to hear from a variety of our different great department leaders decoding and making these fun policies even more simple for you to incorporate in your business. Now, first of all, I want to highlight a couple of things that we're going to be talking about in this show. We're going to cover 6 different areas. I want you to think of this show like an encyclopedia that you can reference back again and again. So bookmark this link, share it with your new designers, and refer to it as you have questions. That might even be easier than watching the whole show beginning to end. We'll provide section dividers in each section and clearly label them so that you can hop back and forth to the sections that are most relevant to you and your designership. Now, the 6 sections that we'll be covering today are personal promotions, working with non-Chalk Couture products and businesses, how to work with sales tax, bonus buying, credit card usage, and repackaging and sampling. In each one of these 6 areas, we want you to know that Chalk Central is here to support you. Everything in the policies and procedures is designed to have you be more successful. They are not intended in any way to punish or diminish your creativity, but to give you guidelines for success. In fact, since the company launched last year, we have had 0 designers ever be terminated for policy infraction, and fewer than 10 people have had their accounts temporarily paused while we work through different questions and remediation with that designer. Our goal at Chalk Central is always going to be about education and support. And that is the goal of policy and then procedure, to teach you how to do things well and correctly. Now, as we dive in, I want to emphasize that the reason we're making this is that the Chalk Couture business is so flexible. You have 3 different ways that you can be successful running your own organization. First, you can choose to sell Chalk Couture product. This is where the policies are most going to govern, because Chalk Couture has intellectual property rights bound up in those products. The other 2 ways, which are holding create and takes, all different kinds of creative workshops and classes, and third, selling finished goods, you have a lot more flexibility on. That's because this is where you are taking our product and making it into an entirely different product, your own. We will endeavor to keep this session very clear so that you can understand what pertains to policy concerning Chalk Couture product, and then what pertains to procedure, which is largely about finished goods and create and take. Lots and lots of flexibility for you. Now, as we set this up, as I said, we've got some of our great Chalk Central department heads leading this. I'm going to encourage them to refer to their notes, because we want to make sure that we give you the most specific and helpful education that we possibly can. The wholesale business is a wonderful organization to run with, and that's because by us selling you product at wholesale, we give you maximum flexibility. It does also make us a bit unique in the direct selling world, and we're going to dive into some of those uniquenesses so that you can act with confidence. Some of the key things about running a wholesale operation on our side that make it different for you is, first of all, no sales tax is ever accrued on inventory orders purchased at 40% off by you from us. This is awesome because it allows you to defer the sales tax collection until there's a triggering event. We're going to talk about some of those triggering events in just a moment. Because we sell at wholesale, one of the guidelines that we have for you is that any order placed at the 40% off needs to ship to your designer address rather than to any other address or direct to customers. If you have orders that should be shipping direct to customers, those should be placed on your website. You still receive full PV and 25% commission for those orders, and they conveniently ship direct to the customer. But on the wholesale ordering side, those are for you, to you, and they should also only be placed by credit cards that are authorized for your use and in your household. Those are some of the things that make our business really unique. Now, I'm going to turn it over to my friends. We're going to cover these 6 different sections in just a few minutes. I hope you enjoy this great, enlightening overview, and that then you can go back to refer to the policies and procedures document as you want, rather than reading it as a novel, looking at it as an encyclopedia that you can look up facts and figures to support and guide your organization and your designership to great success. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Kari, and I'm here to talk to you about personal promotions and designer-created promotions. We want you to know that you can and should feel free to create promotions to incentivize your team members, your customers, your hostesses. This is a great way to drive sales within your organization. And so as long as you're meeting a couple specific parameters, we recommend that this is part of your organization. First off, it should be tied to a product offering. So in other words, you've built a kit, a bundle, you've offered a free product, you've offered a discount on product. That's the focus where it needs to be. Secondly, it needs to be offered only in a closed group, non-public setting. What on earth does that mean? Let me give you a couple of examples. If you're in a closed group on Facebook, that's a perfect opportunity to use this type of promotion. If it's something that your customers have had to opt in to see, an email, a newsletter, these are also perfect opportunities. If you have liked a page or followed a page, it needs to be more than that. They can't just search it out and find it. It needs to be a closed offering. So it also could be even in person. If you're offering an event at a party, even at a create and take, that's another great opportunity. It could even be at an expo or a pinners conference type of a setting. And as long as it's an in-person offering and you don't have a lot of banners and signage that could be considered public facing, then that is well within the parameters that we have set up for you. The reason behind this is because it could be kind of confusing for the customers. If they see a sign at a pinners conference, buy one, get one, and they can't make it to your booth and they call us at Chalk Central, we don't know the details of your promotion. We may not be able to support what you have offered. If they approach another designer, that designer may not have the inventory or the desire to support the promotion that you have created. So you can see that that could be kind of confusing for our customers. And we also want to make sure that we have created a level playing field. Our newest designers can gain momentum without feeling like they have to compete with a designer who has more experience and more inventory. Now, just remember that as you are representing yourself on our public forums on Facebook, the tag Independent Chalk Couture Designer means that you are an ambassador to our wonderful brand. So please act accordingly. Keep it classy. If you have questions about those specifics, you can find them in 3.3.12. Thanks.
Hi, it's Angie. I'm here to talk to you today about non-Chalk Couture products, or maybe you have an outside business that you're already doing and you've signed up to be a designer and you want to know how do they work together. So it's a-okay if you have a business. We can just give you some guidelines and the guidance that you need to run those parallel and understand it. Don't have a business? That's okay too. Maybe some of this doesn't apply to you. You can just skip forward or skip ahead on those items. Let's go ahead and just take a quick read of the policy. Your independent Chalk Couture designership should be distinct and run parallel to any other business interest. What does that mean? Your distributorship might not follow the exact same processes as your current business. We might have some other items or ways that you need to do processes that are going to be a little bit different. If you have a current website for your other business, it's okay to add a link to your Chalk Couture site. Go ahead and direct that group of followers or customers that you have and let them know about your Chalk Couture site. Maybe you have a business Facebook page. Create a second page just for your Chalk Couture designership, and that helps allow that separation and lets your customers know about the new great product that you're selling. So you wonder why? Why would you have to do this? Why not just make it easy and do it all in one place? Let's talk about what those whys are. It helps provide brand clarity. not only for the product that you're currently working with or that you're doing with your current business, but also for the Chalk Couture product. You may think, well, my customers understand the difference between the two. They know, but they may be new to Chalk Couture and they might not know. It protects your current business by having that separate and available to them. They know that it's this page or this Facebook group for this business and the other one for the Chalk Couture. It protects the Chalk Couture name and brand as well, which is definitely important in this business. So how do you make this work? What will you do, or what is the preferred way to do it? Let's simply break that down for you as well. We want to make this as easy as it can possibly be. First, create a separate Facebook page for your customers to go to where you can just share all about Chalk Couture, and you invite them to be part of that group, like that page. By doing this, it helps you have a special place just for your Chalk Couture promotion. You're welcome to go onto your current pages that you have, maybe your personal page or your business page, and say that you're doing Chalk Couture now and you want them to be sure to join you on your Chalk Couture Facebook page. Let your followers know when you're going to go live so they know to come over, watch you, see what's going on, and check out the great products that you're making. You also want to keep it Chalk Couture focused. This one's a big one. The reason for the Chalk Couture focus and branding when you're going live is that you may be using products that are not Chalk Couture, and that's fine. But you want, as you're promoting that and showing them and completing the projects, you want to include a bit of information. So you might say, I'm going to do it on this canvas. And while I'm doing it, you're not going to focus on the canvas where you got it per se. Instead, you're going to say, I'm doing it on this canvas, and look, I'm going to use this transfer, this paste, this ink, and you're going to go through the process. You might say, somebody's going to ask me where I got that. That's okay. They might ask. And just let them know. Send me a message and I'll shoot you the information as soon as we're done with this event. That's not a problem. But the reason for focusing on just the Chalk Couture product versus making it a commercial about everything else that you're using in your finished piece is because the Chalk Couture product is where you're going to make your commission. That's what's important. That's how you're going to build your business and grow it. It's not because you bought a canvas at the craft store down the street. They're not paying you anything to share it. So you want to make sure that you're staying true to the product as you're sharing it, because you're representing yourself as a Chalk Couture independent designer at that point, and that's where your focus should be.
Hello designers, I'm Madeline. I know you just heard from Angie more about this policy, so I just kind of wanted to dive in there and talk a little bit more about what this means for promoting your finished goods as well as your create and takes. You'll notice that our policy is really specific about Chalk Couture products, so some of you might have questions about what does this mean for my finished goods and also my create and takes, and how can I promote them. So let's just take a look. We'll start with the finished goods and then I'll get into create and takes. So with your finished goods, you're going to have a lot more flexibility. This means you can post your prices of your finished goods on your social media to the public because they are yours. You created them, they are your products now. You can sell them publicly and you can offer them in a fixed location. Basically, you can sell them anywhere and anyhow that you want. The one thing you'll want to avoid is just mentioning the individual prices of the Chalk Couture products. So that's with the finished goods. Now let's look a little bit into the create and takes. So with create and takes, you can post the price of the event because you're selling the creative experience, right? This means you're selling or you're promoting the event, the workshop. It's something that people are attending and that's what they are paying for. So just as a side note, this does not refer to making kits and selling them online. That's totally separate and you can't post that publicly. But for your create and takes, you can post the registrations publicly on your business site. You have flexibility to determine the price as well as the venue that you're going to hold your create and takes. And you can Okay, so you're just going to want to avoid promoting the prices of the non-Chalk Couture products that you're going to use in your create and takes publicly. Now, when people come to your event and they ask, where did you get this?
you can tell them, and you can also share the price. But as far as publicly, you don't want to share those because you are making this about Chalk Couture and your business with Chalk Couture. So I hope that that helps answer some of your questions about promoting your finished goods and your create and takes.
Hey everybody, it's Christine again. I hope you're enjoying this special edition of Chalk Talk. For the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk to you about a really important section, 2 of them, in our policies and procedures. Section 7 and Section 10 that cover the wholesale nature of our business and that all-important sales tax. So as we look at this, you know that we are a wholesale business, which means we sell to you at wholesale without any tax collected, and then you collect and remit that tax when a qualifying transaction happens. So we're going to explore the 4 most common kinds of qualifying transactions, and I'm going to give you some guidelines about how to make that easy and a really natural part of your ongoing designership. So let's first look at the 4 different kinds of use that are most common for the products that you buy out of inventory at that 40% off wholesale discount. Number 1, you buy to resell to a customer. Number 2, you use it, consume it personally yourself. Number 3, you use it in the creation of a finished good or create and take. And number 4, you use it as part of a personal promotion. So you might give it to a team member as a prize. You might use it as a buy 2, get 50% off your 3rd transfer, whatever it may be. But those are the 4 vastly most common ways that Chalk Couture wholesale product is used that would trigger a sales tax event. All right, let's explore each one, starting with the most common and the one that is most narrowly focused, and that is when you resell product to a customer at retail. When you sell a product at retail to customer, you do, per policy, need to use either your designer office or your Chalk Shop app. The reason that you use this is you will be prompted to enter that customer's address. When you enter the customer's address, it will calculate the sales tax that you need to collect from the customer. Now, the vast majority of transactions are by credit card. When you collect a customer's transaction money by credit card, their sales tax is captured and remitted instantly. Chalk Couture just acts as a pass-through to that tax authority. We don't really even touch it. It just passes right through. However, when you collect tax in a cash transaction, the customer literally hands you her money, so you now have that sales tax. When you record that the transaction has been remitted in cash in either your designer office or your app, it will calculate the amount of tax and note it in your e-wallet, and that is the amount that you will need to reimburse to Chalk Couture, because you're keeping the money that you got from your customer, and so now you just need to pay that through Chalk Couture. Chalk Couture does not keep ever any tax. We simply act as a pass-through. As soon as a qualifying retail transaction has happened to a customer, regardless of whether it is done with any kind of currency, credit card or cash, we remit that money immediately to the appropriate tax authority. If it's been in cash, you will see it in your e-wallet, and by policy, we do ask you to go pay off any reimbursement that you need to do so to Chalk Couture within 5 days after that transaction has happened. So that really covers your retail flow. Next, let's look a little bit about personal consumption. There are 2 different kinds of personal consumption. One where you use an item personally just for your own enjoyment, because we all love to chalk, so we know you are using pastes and transfers just to beautify and brighten your environment at home. That's great. When you use an item, you don't want it just sitting in inventory. It's gone. You've used it. So you account for that by going to personal use, and you will be charged the sales tax based on that low wholesale price that you bought the item for, because it doesn't ever go to a customer. Note that you will also use personal use when you are using our product, Chalk Couture product, to create a finished good. That is one of your options. I'll get to a little bit more about working with finished goods in just a second. So those are the two most common ways that you would pay tax on the wholesale amount for using a personally used product, either something you've consumed yourself or used in the creation of finished goods. Okay, let's explore finished goods just a little bit more. A finished good is simply this. You hear us talking about it a lot. It's simply a piece of artwork that you have created and intend to resell. Madeline already told you that you have lots of flexibility. These are your product. Even though you have used the product from Chalk Couture, these are your products to use any way that you want, whether you only have a Chalk Couture business or whether you have a separate business. Now, something to keep in mind here, just recognize that although you may be buying products at wholesale from Chalk Couture and you are accustomed, perhaps if you do have an extra business, in selling products and in selling finished goods, because you have agreed to the independent designer agreement, you may need to behave in certain ways as part of Chalk Couture that are different than your business. This applies a lot to finished goods. So for example, if you're one of our few designers who do have a tax exemption certificate, that works great in your business. But because you represent Chalk Couture, if you are selling products under the Chalk Couture header, we need to account for the sale of our products in all 50 states. So if you have a tax exemption certificate in the state of Utah, and you collect sales tax when you sell in Utah, but not outside in another state in your current business, when you sell a Chalk Couture product to Oklahoma or to Texas or to Washington, you still need to collect sales tax, and that is because you are representing Chalk Couture. So recognize that is where your maybe existing business and the Chalk Couture business need to run parallel. You can't incorporate Chalk Couture into your business. The same thing applies with finished goods. We simply have to make an accounting of any product that is used in finished goods. And you can do this in one of two ways. The first one I've already alluded to. First of all, if you use one of our products in the creation of a finished good, you can account for that by using personal use and paying for the sales tax on that item just on the wholesale. And then you are done. Then the accountability rests with you to sell that finished good any way you want and to remit any additional sales tax associated with that item on your own. Now, we have made it easy for you by providing a back office system that will calculate sales tax in all 50 states accurately. We are a destination-based sales tax collector, which means that you need to collect sales tax based on where that item or product is shipping, not based on where you live and where you've sold it. So we ask that you follow those guidelines because those go across Chalk Couture regardless of how you may operate your own independent business. Our businesses run parallel, and so we do ask you to uphold that. The fourth way that product is most commonly used is in those personal promotions that Kari talked about a little bit earlier. So what do you do with products that you no longer have an inventory that you have used for personal promotion? Very, very easy. First of all, the main guideline is that these tend to be considered for taxable purposes as personal use. So if I have run an incentive with my team, my top seller or my top recruiter for the month is going to win this frame. Great. Then you just need to know that that frame, you have chosen to personally use that frame as an incentive. So you will be responsible to pay for the sales tax and to note it as a personally used item on the wholesale. Let me give you a different example, a different personal promotion. I'm going to offer my customers 50% off on B-size transfers for the month of April. If I do that, I will collect sales tax based on the price that the customer pays. So even though the retail price of a B-size transfer may be $14.99, if I sell that B-size transfer for $7.50, I will collect sales tax and remit sales tax based on $7.50. So that's just a quick overview of how being part of a wholesale environment gives you lots and lots of flexibility, and it does require you to do some business accounting to help be in line in one of those 4 different ways. Those are detailed in Section 7 and Section 10, Sales Tax and the Nature of the Wholesale Business, where you'll find more support on how to work with selling at retail, working with personal use, creating finished goods, and also how to use products in personal promotions. These are all great ways that you can support your own independent efforts and your own organization using our great products. I would also strongly recommend that everybody check out the sales tax flowchart that is available in your business documents. This is such a handy reference. Print it or bookmark it and have it next to you so that as you are conducting transactions, until you get the flow of it and get more and more comfortable with identifying how to process those transactions, it'll give you a step-by-step guide that is absolutely foolproof.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I get the awesome opportunity to talk to you guys about bonus buying and how to prevent it. What is bonus buying? Bonus buying is when a designer makes a purchase to reach a requirement to obtain an incentive or a title. We encourage designers to buy just the right amount of inventory that you plan to sell in the month responsibly. Also included with bonus buying is encouraging your downline to make purchases that they can reasonably sell in a month. Another part of bonus buying is passive stacking. Passive stacking is placing new designers under other designers in your downline to obtain incentives or title. When you introduce potential designers to Chalk Couture, those designers need to go in your first level. Anything else could be considered passive stacking when you are trying to reach title or other incentives. Another part of bonus buying is destashing. Destashing is reselling large quantities of Chalk Couture product to other designers. We encourage a community of helping each other out when there's product outages or product shortages or product retirement. We know that things come up in a pinch, and we love the opportunity that designers have to help each other out. We want this to be done responsibly though. Just like with bonus buying, you should only have purchased enough product for you to sell in a month, so we should not see destashing of product. Doing these things will keep your designership in a healthy status. And we will be back in a moment to talk about credit cards. Hi, I'm back to talk to you about credit card and its usages. You can find credit card usage in Policies and Procedures in Section 7.1. It says, designers will not permit other designers or customers to use his or her credit card or permit debits to their checking accounts to enroll or to make purchases from the company. This could flag to Chalk Couture that you are bonus buying, which we talked about in the last section. If a designer is using your credit card on their account to place orders. Also, if a designer purchases a starter kit with your credit card is now on file for their monthly subscription fee, and you could see a disruption in their account when they update their credit card. If you always buy product responsibly and use a credit card appropriately, you will have a healthy designership.
Hi, it's Kari again, and I'm here to talk to you about repackaging and relabeling, which is not allowed, and I'm here to tell you why. First off, it's because customers can't buy these smaller units on your website or really anywhere else. Also, they are not labeled or skewed for individual sale. And thirdly, just the lack of consistency in sizes and offering could be a really confusing and frustrating experience for your customer. However, free samples are okay. Now just make sure that when you are offering a free sample that you are labeling it with your contact information, as well as an item that says free sample, not labeled for individual sale. Now please note that this will void the product guarantee, which means the item just can't be returned. And make sure that your labels are very simply designed. They don't need to be over-designed so that they couldn't be confused with an actual Chalk Couture branding product. So just remember, these are the guidelines for when you are packaging your free samples.
Okay, that concludes our very special episode on policies and procedures in the April 2018 Chalk Talk. Hope you bookmark this link and refer to it as you add new designers to your team or as you have questions. And of course, remember, if you do have questions about policies and procedures, Chalk Central has got your back. We are here to help make your designership fulfill all of your business goals and dreams. We desire to make this a great guide that we can liberally and creatively interpret together so that you have lots of flexibility to grow and to enjoy the profitability that your hard work merits. Thank you so much for your partnership, for choosing to be a part of the Chalk Couture family. We're excited for an amazing year ahead.